Crypto has undoubtedly become more mainstream in the past year, with us seeing Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs, reaching over $100,000, as well as the total crypto market surpassing $3 trillion for the first time, even approaching $4 trillion. The beginning to huge institutional investment and adoption of crypto, plans for strategic Bitcoin reserves, and a pro-crypto US administration now seemingly under Trump. So if you're new to crypto and are thinking of or looking to buy a cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin for example, or you're just interested in checking out how you approach this, then in this video, I'll be taking you through the steps that you'll likely need to take to acquire and then store it securely, as well as key tips to look out for when doing this. Because the two main aims we have here at Coin Knowledge are to educate people on how to invest safely in crypto and to encourage the adoption of cryptocurrencies so people can actually hold and own their own assets, to grow their wealth over the long term and to try to ensure economic freedom. So please do like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to offer more content for you in future. If you follow our social media channels on X, Facebook and Instagram, you'll receive daily crypto and financial education news update posts, which will keep you informed. Stick around to the end of this video to find out what services Coin Knowledge offers. Just a quick reminder that nothing contained here is financial advice, and let's jump straight in. The first thing to do before you buy crypto, which shouldn't be overlooked, is to decide exactly which cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies you're looking to invest in, how much you're going to invest, and what your investment strategy will be. Because everyone's crypto portfolios will be different, with different amounts invested, different goals, time horizons, strategies, risk appetite, etc. So it's important to always do your research first and make your own investment decisions, rather than following what others are doing or buying when there's hype or euphoria, maybe hoping for huge gains over a short time frame. Because for a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, for example, which most people start off with or hold exclusively, given that it's obviously the largest cryptocurrency with the largest market cap by some way, then most people are going to want to buy, store it securely, and then hold this over a longer time frame, unless you're looking at a more advanced investment strategy, which we won't be going to in this video. But the beauty of buying cryptocurrencies is that you can invest whatever you'd like into it. For example, you could just invest $10, pounds, euros, whatever, per day, week, month, etc. You don't need to be able to buy one Bitcoin. You can invest whatever you can or feel comfortable investing. Because if you take Bitcoin as an example, it's much more divisible than a pound, dollar, or euro that has 100 cents or pence equaling one. But there are 100 million Satoshis to each Bitcoin, not 100. And crypto operates 24/7, unlike the traditional financial system where you often have to wait a few days for the transfer to go through, or for the bank to be open if it's a weekend, for example. So let's say you've decided on what you're going to invest in. Well, then the next step for most people will be going to a crypto exchange. And you can see some of the largest centralized crypto exchanges in the world here, or the top 8 anyway, in order of CoinGecko's trust scores, with Binance being the largest exchange by far, which is different to Binance US if you're based in the United States, that's just opened up USD services again, following its legal proceedings. Then there's the publicly traded US company Coinbase, which is the largest exchange by trading volume in the United States, and it's just registered in the UK, as I covered in our previous video, that has a decent partnership with PayPal in terms of interacting with Fiat, but does have high fees. Bybit, that I'll mention again in this video following some worrying news, and I'm not sure how long it'll be on a trusted list, OKX, BitGet, KuCoin, and Kraken, with there being other noticeable exchanges such as Crypto.com not on this list. And in terms of crypto exchanges, it will depend where you are in the world as to which exchanges are fully registered and available where you are. So you want to check that out first. And obviously can't cover every crypto exchange, cryptocurrency, and jurisdiction in this video. But if you do use a particular exchange and have found it works well for you, then it would be really helpful to add this in the comments below for others, with the name of the exchange and the country. But let's break down some rules and things to look out for in terms of centralized crypto exchanges. So firstly, each exchange will offer a different number of cryptocurrencies and blockchains, often called networks. So you want to use an exchange that supports the cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies that you're specifically looking to invest in, with most exchanges supporting the largest of the cryptocurrencies. Some exchanges will offer other services, such as more advanced trading or crypto derivatives, but we won't go into these in this video. but it is something to consider if you're looking for these services. Most exchanges will work on a desktop, which we'd always advise you using. So you do this on a laptop or computer that stays at home, rather than on a phone that you carry around with you every day. Some apps from exchanges are predominantly mobile-based though, which is fine if you need to use it and want to use that exchange, but you'll always want to have security in mind. And as we're touching on safety and security here, there are a lot of scams out there. So please, as always, don't click on any links and only use official websites that you've checked carefully. You'll want to set up two-factor authentication with the crypto exchange and ensure that your general computer setup is focused on security. And we will cover securing your assets a bit later in this video. KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer, will be required for these exchanges, which means that you'll need to verify your identity with the exchange by uploading information, which is how the exchanges become registered in a particular country, as they have to comply with anti-money laundering or AML and terrorist financing rules that they're subject to. When trying to decide between exchanges, there's no right or wrong answer in terms of the exchange you use, but you will want to compare the fees, both the on-ramping fees, so anything they'll charge you for adding fiat onto the exchange, so pounds, dollars, euros, etc., with most exchanges not charging for this. And just remember, some exchanges won't be available to you depending on where you are, so may not have fiat on-ramp or off-ramp crypto services, only allowing crypto to crypto transfers. So that's something to check and bear in mind also, if you need this, as most people do to begin with. But there are several fees that crypto exchanges charge to make their money. Potential fiat on-ramp fees, trading fees if you want to swap a cryptocurrency for another, withdrawal fees when you want to withdraw your crypto off the exchange, which you'll want to check out before you add fiat to that exchange, and fiat off-ramp fees if they offer this, if you want to sell your crypto back to dollars, pounds, euros, etc., which I will come back to again when we get to that stage a bit later in the video. And instead of an exchange, you could look for a crypto broker instead if you wanted to use one. But again, you want to check really carefully the fees, reviews, terms and conditions, on-ramp and off-ramp options, and how many cryptocurrencies and blockchains they support. There are some crypto exchanges and platforms that offer peer-to-peer services to buy crypto also. For example, Binance. So you'd be buying a cryptocurrency like a stablecoin, Bitcoin, etc. from someone else who signed up to that exchange, rather than from the exchange itself. But again, you'll want to check the fees here and how much crypto you'll receive compared to buying it elsewhere, as it can often end up being a bit more expensive, with there even being a few decentralized options out there, although these are more advanced and expensive. If you're looking to transact in significant sums, then you might want to consider exchanges that offer OTC, or over-the-counter crypto purchases, because exchanges will often have limits to the amount of fiat and crypto that you can interact with on their exchange. So there are some that will allow larger amounts if you sign up to this. For example, Kraken, Crypto.com, CoinJar, Coinbase, CoinPass, Archax, etc. that all offer this. So once you've decided on an exchange and have become verified, the next step is to actually send fiat to your account, like US dollars, British pounds or euros, otherwise known as on-ramping. To do this by sending it from a traditional bank account to a crypto exchange, you might need to consider which bank you're sending your fiat currency from, depending on where you are in the world, because some traditional banks have simply blocked transactions to crypto exchanges without asking, meaning that you either need to speak to the bank directly, for example, its fraud department, to tell them that you want the transaction to be allowed, or you might need to find another bank account that will allow transfer to these exchanges, which is infuriating if you think that it's a perfectly legal transaction with a regulated exchange in the country you're in, but hopefully that won't apply. On a crypto exchange, when you're adding fiat onto it, you're likely going to want to avoid the pay by card options, so debit card, credit card, even though it is easier, as they tend to carry with them larger fees. So you've decided what cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies that you want to own, you've decided on an exchange, and managed to transfer some fiat to that exchange. You're now ready to purchase that crypto. So on the exchange, you're going to want to buy or trade the cryptocurrency you want by selling the fiat currency you hold. It's likely this will be more useful at a later stage if you swap crypto for another cryptocurrency, but if the crypto exchange gives you the option of a spot or market trade, then I'll explain these briefly here. A spot trade is where you set the price that you want the exchange to buy or sell at. For example, if you wanted to buy one BTC, but only when the price dropped to, let's say, $90,000, then rather than having to monitor the price all the time, and then have to log into the exchange and do this manually, you can tell the exchange in advance to do this for you if that price point is reached. Obviously, if your chosen price isn't reached, then no trade will be made. If the exchange you use gives the option of a market trade, which is more common especially for fiat, that will buy the cryptocurrency you've chosen using the fiat you've uploaded on the exchange at the current market price the crypto exchange has for that cryptocurrency at the time you make the transaction. A market trade is normally pretty instant, so you'd be able to see this crypto in your account straight away. So in this case, congratulations, you now own some crypto. But do you actually? Because the exchange is holding this for you or as a custodian of your assets. You don't actually hold any crypto yourself. So your funds and crypto assets could be at risk if they're just sitting on an exchange and that exchange encounters issues, as we've already seen through the collapses of exchanges like FTX and Celsius, or even Bybit that was hacked on the 21st of February 2025 for about $1.4 billion. Crypto regulation is also something to be aware of, because should this become negative or new rules are put into place where you're based, the centralized crypto exchange is very likely going to follow these, which could mean your assets can get frozen, etc. in the worst case scenario. With one of the aims of crypto being sovereignty and you holding your own assets rather than a third party, with the famous phrase and one of the key sayings in crypto being, not your keys, not your coins. So if you don't hold your private keys or seed phrase, you're not holding your cryptocurrencies. So here at Coin Knowledge, we would recommend holding crypto securely in cold storage, which means it's offline. There are also more advanced security options, especially if you hold a large amount of crypto. In terms of which hardware wallet or cold storage to purchase, I won't go into too much detail in this video, but I did do a video unboxing and showing the new Trezor Safe 5 hardware wallet that you can find the link to here in the description of this video. I've also included a link to Trezor's official website in the description if you want to check this out. And to move your crypto to your hardware wallet, you'll need to send or withdraw the cryptocurrency from the exchange to the crypto address of your hardware wallet. You'll just need to check this carefully and make sure you're sending it on the correct blockchain or network for that cryptocurrency. As a side note, when you're in a position that you might want to sell, tax may apply, depending on where you are, with generally speaking capital gains tax being due when you dispose of a crypto asset. Crypto exchanges generally do report to tax authorities in order to be able to operate in those countries. So this is something to be aware of and build into your planning if needed. However, in some countries, there is no capital gains tax on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin if you've held it for a certain amount of time. And in other countries, there's just no capital gains tax at all. But again, there are different tax rules in different countries, so it's worth looking into this for the country that you're based in for tax purposes. So to summarize, the process of buying crypto that we've covered in this video is step 1, to decide which cryptocurrency to buy. Step 2, choose a crypto exchange. Step 3, send fiat currency to that exchange. Step 4, buy crypto using the fiat currency on that exchange. And finally, step 5, withdraw your crypto off the exchange to cold storage or a hardware wallet. But that ends this video, and I hope that's helped. Just a reminder that if you're interested in more of a tailored approach to your crypto education, and you think you'd benefit from having someone look over your shoulder and guide you on your journey, including in how to safely buy and secure crypto, I do offer one-to-one coaching to those who have the desire and the means to educate themselves further. And there are links in the description where you can message me and book in a free video call to see if we'd be a good fit. You can sign up for a free account with Coinly using the link in the description to this video, which is one of the best automated crypto tax platforms out there. If you're looking for more specific crypto tax advice based on your personal circumstances, I've partnered with a leading UK crypto tax company in Myna, which is part of the company Nephos, that offers other services such as wealth management, restructuring, offshoring, etc. But I'll leave a link to contact them directly in the description to this video. I've also included a link to Trezor's website in the description for anyone looking for one of the best hardware wallets or cold storage out there, with 2 new models released recently in the Trezor Safe 3 and Trezor Safe 5 that I actually did a video on recently that I mentioned earlier that you can find the link to in the description. And finally, if you're looking for a portfolio tracker for your crypto portfolio, then I've included a link to CoinStats in the description of this video, which is the leading crypto and Bitcoin tracker on the market. And if you found this content interesting, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help. and have a great day.